orderly live, because in that service is meant to bring down the presence of God, so that even within the week and before the next service, once you enter there, you can still feel the presence. Whereby noise everywhere, and then during the week again, you still come and do the same thing, like how many times? And people are still coming and giving their blood money and unclaimed money. It's not a church, fam. It's not a temple. It's just a business.
Is why prayers conducted in private, where it's you and God, so quite enjoying your praises and worship, why won't you be answered? Worshipping in the church shouldn't be an occasional event. I guess that's the reason he choose 1 out of 7 days to gather and worship him, and that gathering is just like a God thing, like a tradition. Okay, back to information and knowledge. Say Mr. Information wants to be seen as the true bearer of the power, so does Mr. Knowledge. Even if these two acknowledge they are individually powerful, they just want to be ranked. So one is seen as superior and labeled the true power, whereas if they had tried to reason instead of arguing and fighting, they would have realized they both is one cause, and information without the right knowledge can never be correctly understood and its full power still unlocked. And if you use the wrong knowledge, you end up telling the wrong truth and might be believed, maybe because you unlocked most of these powers in the past. The correct truth is information plus knowledge equals power. They both are dependent on themselves to an extent, because for knowledge to know, it needs information to understand, and for information to understand it needs knowledge to interpret. If you were observant, you'd have realized that the unlocked power there was understanding, which the blind man sees is another English word.
Because people don't really understand the power in understanding. And understanding is about love. Because only through love can you understand.
Two persons might be talking about the same thing but have different understanding. This is mostly caused by the truth they know and how that truth was told. People experiencing this are the believers. And this misinterpreted truth has been passed down generations, making it gain strength and grow in disguising itself as the correct truth, making it harder to be undiscussed. It would have been easier if it was at the time it was being born, the generation that started it. So therefore the solution is to make sure the truth is exposed and correctly interpreted for the sake of this generation and the ones ahead. And this can only be achieved by understanding ourselves, and we need to. Because most unbelievers don't believe cause they don't know what and which to believe. And won't you like to know if what you believe is correct? And I believe this generation is evolved to a stage where we don't just believe anything, especially an old belief certified by a generation with lesser intellect, less exposed, with less equipment at their disposal for, say, accurate readings on, let's say, buried books, documents. How could they tell how old that book is? They couldn't. What if that book was purposely written and buried for a while, then dug up by the same persons, and then read to the people what they actually wrote? And those generation believed easily. In fact, the persons they believed to be exposed, and no more are those with stories. This is a generation that would call science magic. This is the perfect era to plant and deliver any idea as truth, and all the truth made then is either being changed or restructured. Example, the truth that what goes up must come down was altered when a way to stay up was found, but that didn't make the old truth a lie, but it is better understood when you say, whatever goes up if caused to, can stay up, but if not, would come down. But truths that remains forever the same are those made by God. Example, whatever brought to life on earth, whether by God or human, will die. All it takes is time, so one can say time is death, cause from the beginning to the end of your life is determined by time. Is why we, whites, still haven't been able to decode time, and why the Egyptians were never able to cheat death. But in God you understand that time is an illusion, there's no beginning and end. The beginning is the end, and the end is the beginning, controlled by God. The truth is, after God saw the effects of what he did and how it would affect even the future, he began the process of correction by teaching and preaching with the holy souls available like Moses. But he realized that would not be enough. He had to purify more souls to become disciples, which was the first mission Jesus accomplished before the death, the most important cause. The earth had to be cleansed, giving the disciples the information to help them find the power by realizing the truth so they could teach and preach it when he left, because his death would have been useless if we were not told, taught. Why? All believers and non-believers' religion all talk about one thing, which is God, but at a time was interpreted into what and the way they wanted, a way to keep them in control and wouldn't affect most of their already made truths. I know it would be hard to accept this truth we're about to find out, because it's hard for people to grasp what goes against what they are conditioned to believe, even understanding so little about this world, just like when people were first told the world was round. So just open the ears to your mind and open your mind to every possibilities, and I pray and know God will make you understand.